If you've spent any time on the internet, someone has tried to sell you passive income. Make money while you sleep. Set it up once and watch the cash roll in. Financial freedom in 90 days. Sounds amazing, and it's mostly a lie. Not completely, but the version. They're selling you. That's fantasy. Today, I'm going to show you the real numbers behind every popular passive income stream, what it actually costs in time, money, and sanity, and what actually works instead. Let's start with what people imagine when they hear passive income. You set something up, maybe a rental property, maybe a YouTube channel, maybe an online course, and then you sit on a beach while money flows into your account. Zero effort after the setup. Here's the problem. That's not how any of these actually work. Let's take rental property, the classic passive income example. You buy a house, you rent it out, you collect checks every month. Passive, right? Okay, let's do the real math. You need a down payment, usually 20% for an investment property, on a $300,000 house that s $60,000 up front. Then there's closing costs, repairs to make it rentable, and finding a tenant. Let S say rent is $2,000 a month. Sounds great, but subtract the mortgage payment, maybe $1,600. Property taxes, $300. Insurance, $100. Maintenance fund, $200. Property management if you don't want to do it yourself, another $200. Your passive income is negative $400 a month. You're literally paying for the privilege of being a landlord. But the property appreciates, sure, maybe. Or maybe the market dips, or your tenant stops paying, or the roof needs replacing, and that $15,000 you didn't plan for. And if you manage the property yourself to save money, congratulations. You just bought yourself a part-time job. Dealing with tenants at 2 a.m. when the water heater explodes, fixing toilets, chasing late payments, handling eviction paperwork. That's not passive. That's active work with bad hours and unpredictable emergencies. Okay, what about YouTube? People love this one. Just make videos and the ad revenue comes in forever. Let me tell you what YouTube actually looks like. The average YouTuber with 10,000 subscribers makes about $50 to $200 per month from ad revenue. That's it. After spending maybe 20 to 40 hours per week creating content, editing, writing scripts, making thumbnails, responding to comments. Even at 100,000 subscribers, most creators make between $1,000 and $5,000 per month, which sounds decent until you divide it by the hours they put in. We read talking $10 to $20 per H, or do less than a barista at Starbucks. And here's the part nobody mentions. The moment you stop appering, the revenue drops. YouTube's algorithm rewards consistency. Take a month off and your channel gets buried. That's not passive income. That's a treadmill. The top 1% of YouTubers make serious money, but the top 1% of anything makes serious money. That's not a strategy, that's survivorship bias. You might as well say, become a famous actor is a career plan. The odds are roughly the same. Now there are creators who build back catalogs that generate steady views. An educational video from 3 years ago can still get traffic. That part is real. But getting to that point requires hundreds of hours of upfront work with no guarantee of return. Let's talk about dividend investing. This is the one that sounds the most sophisticated. Buy stocks that pay dividends. Collect quarterly checks. Live off the income. Beautiful. Let's run the numbers. The average dividend yield on the S&P 500 is about 1.5%. On higher yield stocks, you might get 3 to 5%. To make $50,000 a year from dividends, barely a living wage in most cities, you need $1.25 million invested at a 4% yield, and that S before taxes, which can take 15 to 20% of your dividends. So after taxes, you need closer to $1.5 million to clear $50,000 a year. And you're not touching the principal, because if you do, your income goes down. How long does it take the average person to save $1.5 million? Even investing aggressively with a good salary. We were talking 20 to 30 years. Dividends are real income, but calling it passive, hides the fact that it took decades of very active earning and saving to build the pile that generates it. It's like saying breathing is passive. Sure, once you're alive, but being alive is the hard part. And nobody calls the 30 years of work it took to build that pile passive. They just show you the end state and skip the story of how they got there. So, if passive income is mostly a lie, what actually works? The answer is leverage. Not passive, not active, leveraged. Remember the 3 levers from episode 1: capital, people, and code. None of them are passive. All of them require work up front, but they have a key property that hourly work doesn't. They can scale without you. Let me be specific. A software product requires massive upfront work, building it, testing it, marketing it. But once it's built, serving the 1,000th customer costs almost nothing more than serving the 10th. That's leverage. A newsletter with 50,000 subscribers requires years of consistent writing. But once you have the audience, a single email can generate $10,000 in sponsorship or product sales. That's leverage. A business with trained employees and documented systems can run without you for weeks. You're not passive, you built the machine. But the machine runs without your hands on the wheel every day. That's leverage. None of these are set it and forget it. They all require maintenance, updates, and strategic decisions. The software needs security patches. The newsletter needs fresh ideas. The business needs someone steering when markets shift. But the ratio of input to output is fundamentally different from hourly work. With hourly work, 1 hour in equals 1 hour of output. With leverage, 1 hour in can equal 10, 100, or 1,000 hours of output. That's the real difference. Not passive versus active. It's linear versus scalable. So why does the passive income myth persist? Because it's incredibly profitable for the people selling it. Think about it. If I tell you, build a business that requires 2 years of hard work with no guarantee of return, you won't buy my course. But if I tell you, set up the system in 30 days and make money while you sleep, your credit card is already out. The passive income industry is itself the best example of leveraged income. Gurus create a course once and sell it thousands of times. The product they're selling is the dream of passive income, but their actual business model is leveraged active work, content creation, marketing, audience building. They're not lying about the model. They're lying about how easy it is. The average online course buyer pays $200 to $2,000 and never finishes the course. Let that sink in. Most people pay for transformation they never even attempt. The guru makes money whether you succeed or not. That's their leverage, your hope. And hope is an incredibly profitable product because it never needs to deliver results to get a 5-star review. So here's the honest framework. There's no such thing as income that requires zero ongoing effort. Everything decays. Properties need maintenance. Investments need monitoring. Content gets stale. Businesses need leadership. What exists is a spectrum. On one end, pure hourly work. 1 hour equals 1 paycheck. On the other end, highly leveraged systems, where your input is small relative to the output. The goal isn't passive. The goal is leveraged, and the path to leverage always looks the same. A period of intense active work, building the system, creating the asset, growing the audience, accumulating the capital, followed by a period where the system produces disproportionate returns relative to your ongoing effort. That first phase, nobody wants to talk about it because it's not sexy. It's years of work with uncertain results. But it's the only real path to the thing people call passive income. Stop chasing passive. Start building leverage. The people who actually have passive income will tell you there was nothing passive about building it. They just did the hard work early enough that the system had time to compound. That was income truth number 2. Next time I'll show you where first millions actually come from, and the data will surprise you. It's not what the self-made millionaire stories want you to believe. If you want the real numbers, subscribe. This is Income Truths.